Abhijit, I want to again go back to China. And we've seen 2020 has been in many ways a year where Beijing showed us its ugliest side. Uh, all sorts of things, right? We've seen that what's happened at the LAC. We've seen their wolf warrior diplomacy, the whole cover up around COVID-19, intimidation of Australia, and I think a whole bunch of other countries. And of course, internally and in Hong Kong, they've sort of cracked down on dissent like never before. So I want to understand, why has China become so emboldened? Why does it feel that it can get away with anything?
So we need to understand, what we're seeing is not China emboldened. What we're seeing is China panicking.
Right.
And if you remember, even over the last, I think it was in the Festival of Bharat about 2 years back, I said that India's great misfortune is that our leadership right now are clueless. But India's great strategic opportunity is the fact that China's leadership is even more clueless than India's leadership. Because Xi Jinping, being a very stupid man, is the greatest gift China has ever given us. I'll tell you why. When people like Deng Xiaoping and even up to Hu Jintao, but including Jiang Zemin especially, they were very careful that, till China reaches paramountcy, they should never attempt to change the status quo. They should never challenge uh, global consensuses so openly. I think Xi Jinping has, counted his chickens before they hatched, and he's made it a lot more aggressive. Now, understand, why was this last year? China's aggression became particularly bad after COVID started up. And that is because of the kind of criticism that was being leveled at China. It was a panic reaction. And this shows you the danger of Xi Jinping, that for something like this, he starts panicking and he acts super aggressively instead of backing down. It shows you the dangers of having a madman in power. Internally, if you look at it, he has shut down all internal, and there was dissent. I think Deng Xiaoping saw to it that there was some kind of internal dissent where you could dissent within the party. It shouldn't get out, but within the party you could have different opinions, and everything would be carefully measured, and so on and so forth. Xi Jinping has destroyed that. You can't have a different opinion from him anymore. So he engages in really stupid ventures like CPEC or OBOR, call it whatever you want, which are, we all know they're financially unviable. I'm yet to see a cost benefit analysis of this joke that is OBOR. And he's basically going to be, Xi Jinping is going to be like Brezhnev. Brezhnev and Khrushchev set the seed for the collapse of the Soviet Union, but the Soviet Union didn't collapse in their lifetime. It collapsed about 20, 30 years after they died. You're going to see the same thing with Xi Jinping. Xi Jinping is laying the seeds of the collapse of China, but it's not going to happen in his lifetime. It's going to happen after that. Because he is making the same mistake of overextension, of bad fiscal policy, unsustainable fiscal policy, spending money that they think they have, which can evaporate very, very quickly, on white elephants, essentially. So Xi Jinping is doing everything that the Communist Party of China told itself it would not do, which is do a USSR.
I think even on the commercial, business front, we've seen what's happening to Jack Ma and his company, and I know that would also not bode very well for the things that have actually helped China to get where it is. In terms of economic growth, in terms of innovation, he's directly going against that. Do you think that will also sort of slow down some of at least the economic progress that China has been having for last few decades?
Look, the economic progress has already sort of plateaued, and I'll tell you why. They're stuck in a middle income trap now. If you look at the huge increases in income you saw, look how they've been stuck at that same sort of $9,000-10,000 mark for quite some time now, right? Why is that happening? Because when you transition from a manufacturing economy into the information age, a manufacturing economy requires a very strong state, because industrialization is one of the most disruptive processes, anthropologically speaking. It's one of the most disruptive processes. When you transition to the information age, the state needs to take a back seat and the citizens take the foreground. The Chinese Communist Party isn't willing to do that. Remember, the reason that countries like South Korea, Taiwan, they democratized wasn't because of the goodness of the heart. It's not like the Kuomintang suddenly decided, oh, I've seen the light of uh, Buddha, Lokaiteshvara, or Jesus, or whatever it is, and decided to democratize. No, it happened because that 80s to 90s was when you were transitioning from manufacturing into microchips and the digital economy and the information economy. And so they decided to democratize because it was what the economy required. China has not done that. They're basically going the same way that North Korea is going at the moment. The thing about North Korea was, people forget, North Korea had the second highest per capita income in Asia after Japan till 1979. Till 1979, North Korea was the success, South Korea was the failure. Right. So China has sort of stalled its own growth. From now on, all the growth figures are prone to manipulation. They are all prone to sort of excess spending of money, because they're sitting on what, a $3.5–4 trillion reserve. But at some point, if you spend $1.2, $1.3 trillion or whatever they are on things like Obor, that money isn't going to last very long. Like they say, the grandfather makes the money, the father spends the money, and the son loses the money. I think Jiang Zemin is the Xi Jinping, sorry, is the son that's going to lose the money, or at least the beginning of the loss of money. It's not going to, but again, you need to have a lot of faith. This isn't going to happen in the next 10–12 years. This is going to happen in the next 30–40 years. So it's a long-term thing that you need to look out for.
Please remember to subscribe to us and switch on the notifications for this channel. For our other social media links, more content, and to support our work, please visit citti.net. Dhanyavad. Namaskar.